It's October, which means it's Halloween, bitches. So, of course, here on Corner Room Creep Show, I'm opening up the month appropriately, talking about a Halloween-themed indie anthology that I'm a big fan of, The Witching Season. Starting episodic releases in 2015, it's now compiled together as a 5-short anthology revolving around Halloween-time stories made by Witching Season Films, which is primarily the brainchild of Michael Ballif and James Morris. Two guys from Utah who love them some Halloween. So stick around because I think this is a must-watch, especially for October, and a personal favorite of mine. I'm Mr. Samhain, and this is Corner Room Creep Show. So horror anthologies, there's a lot of them, and I love plenty. I grew up with many of them, like Creep Show and Twilight Zone the movie, or my personal favorite as a kid, Tales from the Dark Side the movie. There's some great ones to come out recent as well, like Chillrama, Tales of Halloween, and the fantastic Trick or Treat. But I'd submit Witching Season as a new one to add to the list of high-quality horror anthologies to rewatch. As I said, Witching Season was primarily made by Michael Ballif and James Morris. Both contributed in writing, directing, editing, and acting, with Morris doing a lot of the heavy lifting in directing and acting, and Ballif in the writing, producing, and editing. These two have their names all over the credits, especially with all 5 of the segments having a very small cast. The first short they released was Killer on the Loose, their first attempt, which also has an amusing proof of concept on the disc of the rehearsal of it, with the female lead played by a guy in a wig so they could try out the equipment, lighting, and figure out the shots they wanted. Killer on the Loose is a straight slasher with a woman hiding out in a house from a guy in a dollar store Jason mask. The guy in the mask is actually Morris, and he mimicked Michael Myers to get the movements down. The entirety of the Witching Season is shot very well, so well that they make this budget Jason mask look damn good. No easy feat, as this looks like shit. But they make good use of the shadows, lighting, and furniture to give this the right feel. Each of the stories have a twist, and this one had one of the best, as I did not see it coming when it was revealed. With no dialogue from either character, this is all quiet tension. I give Killer on the Loose 3.5 stars. The second story is Princess, which is about a girl and her mom moving in a new house and finding a creepy as fuck stuffed animal rabbit thing in the basement. As a parent, I wouldn't let my daughter keep some secondhand stuffed animal from the basement of the house we moved into, let alone one as creepy as looking as Princess. The Witching Season's guys got the doll off of eBay, and it even came with a handwritten note expressing their hope that it found a good home. Wrong buyers. Princess tries to murder mom and stuffed animal murder vision, which is pretty funny to watch, and the daughter shows up to bludgeon Princess in her bedroom before cutting that fucker's head off. And there's a twist, because almost every horror anthology story has one at the end, thanks to EC Comics. Michael has a cameo in this one as the chef on TV trying to hot cutting knives, which adds some levity here as he pisses off his assistant in it. Killer's dolls don't really thrill me, but this one wasn't too bad, and the mom and daughter came off as believable, even if the mom could have avoided this by throwing that creepy fucking rabbit in the dumpster. I give Princess 3 stars. Not Alone is the third story, and this one gets straight to the point. As this is the short story, they had little time working with and establishing everything quickly. This was also a filler short, as they didn't have material ready to go for a while, so they shot a very small bottle episode using a bedroom from the same house from Killer on the Loose segment. There's also a tie-in from the previous episode in the opening radio talk show broadcast about a ghost inhabiting a girl's stuffed animal before telling us what we're really here for: aliens. Guy wakes up in his room late at night and gets very well faked out by the old hat rack in the corner trick. They use construction paper to make the fingers for the shadows on the wall, proving you can do some pretty effective stuff with practically nothing. Just good, tight lighting and camera work. There's also a really good fake out on the classic look up and down from a mirror trick. I fully expected them to go for it, and they did a pretty good fake out with that one. This story doesn't have a twist, as you can pretty much expect the expected here. I like the tension that they built in a short amount of time with something as simple as fucking shadows, man. It's a quick one at like 7 minutes, but I still liked it. I give Not Alone 3 stars. The fourth story, They Live Inside Us, is the opposite of Not Alone in every way. The story is about 30 minutes and is the widest in scope of the entire anthology. While boasting the same small cast of only 2 people and another small cameo from Ballif, Morris is back now as Jacob, a writer staying in the haunted Booth house, where a husband murdered his wife about 30 years back. Jacob's trying to write a horror story and comes ready to this spooky-ass house for inspiration with a page of monsters to work with. Each one he selects turns into its own mini-segment, which has some really cool synth music supplied by Slasher Dave, who also did the intro music for Witching Season and the intro music for Corner Room Creep Show. So if you dig some horror soundtrack worship and deep, dirty synth of the horror variety, check him out, as well as this Halloween-themed psychedelic death metal band, Acid Witch. So as Jacob writes these slasher stories about a woman being chased by a man in a spirit store bear mask, a clown that looks like Joe Biden at the beginning of it, and then a scarecrow, which he ultimately trashes, he keeps feeling a presence in the house as there's sounds and a record player that switches on downstairs, and ultimately Jacob isn't going to get a damn thing done here. Haunted houses suck to ride in, especially if they're actually fucking haunted. Same thing as before, there's a twist, and you don't really see it coming. This was Ballif's baby and a concept he had been working on for some years and finally got to make. He also got some awards for it as it was released as a standalone to film festivals, which I think was well deserved. There's a lot going on here, multiple stories, plus the Booth House location was really great. I give They Live Inside Us 4 stars and look forward to the feature length of it that's coming out here on the 6th. Once again, starring Morris, and I'll probably give that one a review in a separate episode this month. Okay, so last story is That You? Where the older sister of the little girl who was in Princess plays a girl who's stuck inside on Halloween because of a broken foot watching Count Spookula on TV, who's also played by Morris. Her mom tries to cheer her up, but her not-so-great Halloween is ruined by a witch outside in the street. This one moves pretty quickly and doesn't spend much time building toward the end. It's quick, yet effective. No backstory, no context, just, it's Halloween, that's a witch, she's in the house, nobody lives, the end. It's just Halloween. This was supposed to have been done by Ballif, but Morris ended up directing this one because Ballif was busy with They Live Inside Us. I'm giving Is That You? Like 3 stars. Overall, the atmosphere of Witching Season is what drives it all. That and playing it all pretty straight. It isn't zany, it isn't silly, it's all pretty serious with some humor here and there, but largely sticking to being grounded in the atmosphere of the Halloween season and serious horror taking place during it. It does have some scary and unnerving moments, but nothing too wild. It's like in Are You Afraid of the Dark for adults, but safe enough for kids as well if they can handle some more mature stuff. Plus a great score throughout from Randall Graves, which evokes some pretty good emotion with it. I really enjoyed the Witching Season and its focus on Halloween. There's a whole lot of Halloween-themed horror, and I feel like this is a solid addition to the season, especially because I love anthologies, which I feel this is a pretty effective one, and I like their style. We got 6 dead bodies, 2 ghosts, 1 alien, 1 witch, 2 possessed stuffed animals, 1 bad horror host, bestial everything, James Morris is everything, gratuitous witch decoration, throat slashing, gut stabbing, shadow mutilation, stuffed animal bludgeon, human speed bump, and suicide. Overall, I'm giving Witching Season 3.5 stars. So check this out on Prime, the link is below, and keep your eyes peeled for the feature length of They Live Inside Us, which is out on October 6th. Well, that's it for Corner Room Creep Show. I'll be back soon with a special episode where I talk about some of my favorite horror movies that aren't necessarily indie, to watch in October. Until then, I'm Mr. Samhain saying, watch something new for a change, and I'll see you soon.